Yes, I'd very much like to warmly welcome everyone here to our meet and greet, our sort of more official opening of the NIHSS-NMU Postdoctoral Research Fellowship Program. Quite a mouthful. Perhaps I think most of the people on Zoom, if you don't mind keeping yourself muted and keeping your cameras on for the duration, that would be lovely so we can see your faces. And for the people in the room, I should just mention that we need to observe social distancing, obviously because of COVID. But if you are all fully vaccinated, then we can be together in this environment without masks. So if you are not vaccinated, perhaps just whisper in Ashina's ear and we'll all mask up. Okay. All right. So I hope you all know me. But just in case, I am Andrea First, and I hold this NIHSS chair in the Humanities faculty at the university. And of course, the chair would be absolutely no chair without Ashina, who works behind the scenes to hold it all together. So welcome, thank you, Ashina. Really glad to have this occasion produced by Ashina. So we, the chair, Ashina and I, have partnered with the NIHSS to set up this program. Basically, they will fund it and the chair will manage it. And the idea is to kind of bring together a community of high-level humanities and social sciences researchers, postdoctoral fellows and their hosts, all working on projects that follow their own passions. So later on, I'm going to ask each of the postdoctoral fellows to introduce themselves and briefly describe their projects. And you're going to be struck by the wide diversity of interests. So what is it then across all this diversity that could bring us together in a kind of cohesive scholarly community? I want to provide you with a thought image that I think helps us understand what a cohesive community might look like in today's age of extreme diversity. The image is something we're coming to see more and more clearly through very advanced and sophisticated technology, and yet it is as much an image of the ancient past as it is the image of a future that we are only beginning to approach. So I am, of course, talking about the image of the interconnected mycelic network that has begun to take hold of the global imagination in so many domains of thinking. And I'd like this image of the mycelium to kind of hover around your thoughts when you listen to the voices of our very, very diverse postdoctoral fellows. Okay, but before we go there, I should mention that our Vice Chancellor, Prof. Mutwa, sends her congratulations and hopes to be able to drop in briefly online on the run from one thing to the next. So we'll keep a lookout for her. I'm very happy, though, to see Prof. Pamela Maseko in real life. Pamela is the Dean of Humanities, and I'd very much like to welcome you to our event and invite you up here if you'd like to say a few words. Thank you. TDCs present, Dr. Kit, the research shareholders here, of course, especially Professor Andrea Hess, the chairholder of the Chair in Identity and Social Cohesion in Africa, hosted in the Faculty of Humanities, and of course, Prof. Andrea Hess is the cause of our celebration today. I'd like to greet other researchers, especially the hosts of the postdoctoral fellows who are in the room or are watching virtually.
Special greetings also to the NIHSS, represented virtually by Dr. Yaliwo Seliboko. Again, special greetings to the postdoctoral fellows who are with us in the room, or again watching virtually. And ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a good morning. I wasn't sure, Andrea, exactly what I needed to say, or the context, but I think what's important is that I was asked to say a few words. Thank you. This is a very good morning and welcome to this occasion as well. I've been asked to say a few words of welcome here, and on behalf of the Faculty of Humanities, obviously, which was the chair, as indicated earlier. In my welcome, or as my welcome, I would like to just touch on perhaps 2 or 3 areas that are pertinent for this chair, particularly the humanities faculty. The NIHSS, the National Institute for the Humanities and Social Sciences, who graciously awarded this grant to us. They've got strategic imperatives that are aligned to the university's imperatives as well as our imperatives as a faculty. And these are to reinvigorate and restore the value of the humanities and social sciences in the academy by advancing transdisciplinary and Africa-centered scholarship in these disciplines through collaborative and scholarly initiatives. We value greatly the support we've received from the NIHSS over the years, and also in this grant received by Professor Hest in the chair. Secondly, we value the value of the scholarship of this award, the postdoctoral fellowships, is threefold for us in the faculty. Firstly, it is to generate cutting-edge, transdisciplinary, and context-sensitive research. Of course, as a faculty, we value Africa as a place from which we can begin to theorize. And so the context sensitivity is with that respect. And secondly, the value of the scholarship is to provide opportunity for the development of cohorts of faculty members to change demographics of our faculties in our universities. And thirdly, we're looking at generating research from this initiative that is responsive to social needs and therefore is impactful. So these are the 3 areas that are important to the faculty and that are around which we center our research initiatives, especially through research collaborations such as this. And I know that with the award of this grant, the NIHSS has advanced those as the areas around which this scholarship needs to be centered as well. The next point I would like to make in my welcome is to, I want to touch on the collaborative work initiated through this grant. And perhaps it's not initiated, but the grant is enabling the continuation of this. And that is mainly the collaboration. As you know, the postdoctoral fellows that have been awarded these grants are hosted in different faculties. It's not only the humanities faculty. And Prof. Hest, when we were looking at the applications and making a choice on who to award this to, we're really sensitive to that. So we've got awardees that are in health sciences, that are in business and economic sciences, So this is what is unique about our faculty. I would like to emphasize that as well as the NIHSS, that these initiatives enable us to do or to identify humanities and social sciences in those disciplines that normally don't recognize the NIHSS. And perhaps it is how should I say, the responsibility of the humanities to identify this and drive them across the other faculties in the university. So, and of course, what I'd like to emphasize as well as I come to an end is that these initiatives is driven by the faculty and is aligned as they are to the NIHSS also imperatives. They are also articulated in Vision 2030, the issue of collaboration, the transdisciplinary work, and obviously the revitalization of integration or restoring the value of the humanities in our academy. So with those few words, I would like to welcome you and wish you well. Firstly, Prof. Andrea Hest, as well as all the collaborators who are hosts of these fellows and other faculties. I also wish the postdoctoral fellows well, and I hope that in 1 or 2 years in the future, you'll be able to meet me in person in faculty where we located in South Campus. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks so much. I'm hoping our first answer will take you up on that, and lovely to have a community of postdocs where we can actually see faces, put names in faces. So I would like to welcome Prof. Mutwa. Thank you very much for hopping in. It's very, very nice to see you here. And also to Jackie Luck. Thank you for popping. Jackie is the Deputy Dean of the faculty. It's very nice to see your name up there on our screen. I am very happy to spot Dr. Thandi Mbwebi. Thandi is the DVC of Research, Innovation and Internationalization. And I'd like to welcome you and invite you up here to say a few words. Hoping that we can now see all sorts of faces and little faces today.
Perhaps Missy, would you like to say a few words before I continue? Maybe just a few words to the fellows.
No, Thandi, no, thank you very much. I just want to congratulate the chair and for the great work, which this is a culmination of that work, and we're very proud of association with these young scholars, and we are looking forward to their contribution to our crucible of taking humanities and transdisciplinarity to the next level. So these are the scholars of the future. So very, very congratulations, Andrea, as well. So thank you very much, DVC. Thanks, great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Missy. Thank you. I also like to advocate in the room. DVC for what's your portfolio? Engagement in transformation. I'm just teasing you, Andrew. Is here to also congratulate the fellows and acknowledge the hosts and you, of course, such a chairholder. All has been said about the alignment of this work with the university, and we look forward to your contribution and enriching our scholarship and expanding our footprint at the university, and to put our name and our profile out there as the university, at the same time supporting you as fellows in your career development. One of the things, Andrea, about such chairs is what gets measured as a such chair, the success of the such chair is exactly this, the expansion and the development of early careers in their research, so that in turn they can also become chairholders in the future. And the other one is about leveraged funding. I mean, to get this amount of funding and at this level for postdoc is a major achievement, not only for you, but also for our university. And I guess also for the country. We as a Nelson Mandela University supporting the revitalization of the humanities and being supported in this way is a big achievement for the humanities. The other thing that I would like the fellows as they continue with their work to put their sight on is on information brokering as they progress with their studies. There's no real point in doing the work and continuing to engage only internally at Mandela, but it's important to put that work out there because it aligns with other work in the globe, and this relevance is really important. And also, I've looked at the various disciplines that are represented by the fellows, and it's encouraging to see the disciplines as diverse as they are. And it will be interesting in the future to see the intersection of these disciplines, how they come together in interdisciplinary work and transdisciplinary work. And we are here to support the growth of these fields, perhaps to something that we even don't imagine now, but in the future it will be something to even be more proud of. So that's the power of transformative research that I see emerging from this work that you are supporting and directing, Andrea, and we're really proud of you and the fellows. And I'm not sure where the fellows come from. I will hear from them when they introduce themselves to look at even the diversity of the backgrounds of the fellows. That's really interesting, and it contributes to the enrichment of scholarship as well. And I don't have anything more to say other than to congratulate you, but to wish you well as you progress with your research, but also to acknowledge the mentors that are here, Belinda, Janet are here, and the others who are hosts of the fellows, and your contribution is really important and acknowledged. And I think us in our offices are here to support and provide whatever support you'd like provided, and also to connect you with the rest of the world. So please feel free to invite us, to inform us, and to supply us with whatever information and feedback and progress as you go along. And thank you very much, and all the best. And I look forward to further engagement. So thank you.
Thank you. One of the things, one of the parts of the function of this function is so that you can, as postdoctoral fellows, actually see the people, the movers and shakers that are part of the support structures of the university. So I would also very happy to see Priscilla Menso in person. So this is Director Research Development. And I'd also very much like to welcome you here and invite you to introduce yourself to the hosts.
Good morning, colleagues. I'm very happy to be here, and you have heard today about the strategic imperatives of the humanities. And as many of you are aware, Mandela University is an institution in service to society. And I see myself as part of that society. I'm a natural scientist, trained in chemistry, specifically pediatric vaccine development. And so I appreciate my humanities colleagues who help me make sense of the world, right? And I enjoy reading your works. I'm thinking about Zix Buda's Excelsior, Jonathan Janssen's Knowledge in the Blood. That helps one make sense of the world. And it's information that you don't learn when you register for chemistry and when you do experiments with pediatric vaccines. And I see my role as Director Research Development in contributing to an enabling environment for you as postdoctoral fellows to flourish. And I was part of the selection committee. Thank you, Andrea. So I've seen the areas in which you are doing your research, and I'm really excited to read about the outcome of this research. And very importantly, part of your journey from being emerging researchers to becoming internationally leading scholars will be consistent access to funding. And so I encourage you to make use of the various avenues Mandela University has to fund your research going forward. So today we appreciate you as postdoctoral fellows, but really we are seeing you as international leaders in your discipline. And so Mandela University has a license to research professional. Please use it. It's wonderful. You set up your profile and you work on applying for research grants so that when you grow up, you can be So I want to say a big thank you to Andre and Hashila, the formidable team here, to the supervisory team that's also here, to the Dean and the DBC. Thank you really for this wonderful initiative. We look forward to working with you to make it a success. Thank you.
Thanks so much. So I'm very happy that you've given us a reason to be, to help you understand the new life. That's very nicely said. Thank you very much. Welcome, Nolanga. Very happy to see you here. Also, another one of our hosts. So I should actually welcome our hosts more officially, the ones that are here, Belinda, Nolanga. Janet is here, yes. And of course. I am now also very thrilled to see Yadiwa Silaboko, who has joined us online. And we are now trying to kind of do this hybrid thing, and I'd very much like to ask Yadiwa to introduce herself to us. She is the Senior Program Coordinator of the NIHSS. And for us, she's the voice of the NIHSS, and I'd very much like to see the face of the NIHSS too. And call upon you perhaps to put your video on and introduce yourselves to us. You will have to unmute yourself. There you go.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Good morning to everyone. It's such a pleasure being here. Yeah, I'm sure you can tell by the smile that I am the face. I'm so proud of all of you. As a point of departure, I'm so happy to see all relevant stakeholders, the movers and shakers, as you mentioned, Andrea. And you know, when you see familiar names and you put the name to the face. So I'm very thrilled to be here today. Thank you so much for embracing this opportunity. I think NMU was one of the universities I was very excited to be working with from the beginning of us implementing this program for the 2021-22 financial year to this moment, you know. My name is Yadiwa Silaboko, and I've been with the National Institute for the Humanities and Social Sciences since December 2019. Just a brief background on, Professor Maseko, it was so good seeing you on that podium. You know, a week later we meet again. So we started the postdoc program. We launched it for the first time in 2020. And when we launched it, it didn't look like it'll come together as it's coming together now, especially because we've always specialized with funding doctoral fellows. And we thought, okay, we've done our part, we've reached our 55% throughput and we've exceeded it. What pipeline are we creating after our doctoral fellows have graduated? And that's when the idea of a postdoctoral fellow came in. We had our first cohort of 30 across 3 universities, UKZN, UP, and UP. And you know, each when you pilot any project, it'll have its teething problems. And you will just make sure that, okay, the teething problems, we'll get over that. And then the crawling starts, and then the walking starts. And then you say, oh, okay, let us roll it out further to other universities to see how best we can model what we've learned from these 3 institutions. I appreciate that as we grow our capacity to accommodate new universities with their different approaches, we also learn. And what I'm appreciating with NMU is that we've seen a diverse cohort. We've seen collaboration at a different level. There's transdisciplinary, there's interdisciplinary, and I'm looking forward to seeing how, in as much as STEM has been upheld, how is the humanities and social sciences going to be coming together without being swallowed through this approach? So I think that's one thing I'm looking forward to. I know that NMU is not our only university. We've awarded 6 other universities, and at some point we will be having a national orientation where all our postdocs will be coming together to meet each other in promoting our approach of making sure that our postdocs network, our postdocs learn from each other, our postdocs take ownership of their postdocs or this postdoc opportunity, because as we learn, we get to see the different challenges that they experience, but as they work as a cohort from different universities, different faculties, we see great results being yielded. And I can already see collaboration at a different level. I'm just hoping that the postdocs will be afforded an opportunity to be on campus full-time, so that they work very closely together. We've seen how it's so unfortunate that when we launched, we were immediately hit with COVID, and that has taken away the element of exploring collaboration to its fullest. And we've seen how strides have been made in ensuring that postdocs get the most from this program. I mean, as the NIHSS, we are not only here financially, Andrea, we also offer psychosocial support, you know. We also offer support through workshops in terms of specific themes that postdocs would like to explore. We bring in mentors, we bring in specialists in those fields, just to make sure that nobody is left behind. We know that this is an opportunity for them to learn. To learn for us means that we need to take ownership of this project. There will be a loss of sleep, and we want them to embrace it. There will be growing pains, but this is also a muscle that they need to build in order to make sure that they transition to this independent career and path they've chosen. We know that they don't know everything. This is an opportunity for them to take advantage and full advantage of what the faculty is offering, what meetings will offer. We want them to start reading broadly now. Now you need to go beyond your PhD thesis title. You know, this is you taking responsibility in ensuring that you are trained and you educate yourself beyond your PhD. We want you to take the opportunity to teach others. You are now an expert in your niche area. So through this postdoc, we encourage you to take mentoring courses, you know, to teach undergrads, just to make sure that that muscle is built as you transition to this independent career. We want you to write scientific papers. I mean, ultimately, as the NIHSS, we want to support you in such a way that you are also known. So it doesn't matter what you do with your life. It's important to know how to write scientific papers. It is an important aspect in your postdoctoral career. you need to position yourself in such a way that you get good letters of references. I mean, for everybody who's spoken before me, I'm sure you will get these good letters of recommendation. We want you to learn organizational skills. It's something that we don't want you to take for granted. It'll teach you great time management, and it'll teach you how to keep good records. We want you to be a good citizen of your department. We want you to embrace teamwork. We want you to get along with others. That's why this was given to Prof. Hurst, who's a Sachi chair, and she's identified different academics and researchers to work with. And I think that's because she's also embracing our model that nobody is left behind. Maseko also mentioned that getting funding as little as this, it doesn't come easy. And we want you as a postdoc to also hone your skills in writing grant applications for your own funding. You know, it's important that we also learn the art of pitching ideas for money, because this is a very useful skill. You'll see 6 months into this postdoc how important that is. We know that you're good writers. We know that you're good writers. We want you to network, and that's why we'll, at any given moment, upon your request or as the NIHSS, make sure that we create opportunities for networking. But most importantly, we want you to finish your papers before you leave your postdoc program. This becomes important because the number of papers you publish is important to your career. And once you leave your postdoc, the chances of unfinished papers getting finished decrease dramatically. So we want you to finish everything you start. As the NIHSS, we believe in you. We are here to give you all the necessary support you need, and we will handhold as much as possible in order for us to make sure that you become a successful postdoc in this journey. Thank you so much, Andrea.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful to hear that there's even more support. We'll be doing a postdoc symposia where you'll all meet each other in much more detail. But it's lovely to hear that there will also be a kind of more national one. So thank you very much for chatting to us. I would very much like to thank all of the extremely dynamic women notes who have been talking to us about various aspects of the chair and the research, and very lovely dynamic group of high-powered women. Isn't it wonderful to see? I'm very impressed with that. I would like to go on now to invite the postdocs, the flowers on our mycelium, to chat to us about their projects. Yes, I see we would very much like to have chatted to Muzo Colonel first, but I see that he's battling to link up. He seems to be coming and going on screen. Muzo, are you there? No. Okay. All right. If he comes back, we'll ask him to chat to us. So I've just got a very arbitrary list here. It was just there's no special order. So what I would like to do is invite now Jenny Donian to maybe unmute yourself and chat to us a bit about your project. Introduce yourself to us.
Thanks very much, Andrea. Let me just make sure everything's there. Okay. Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you to the NIHSS, and thanks very much to Andrea for this opportunity. My name is Jenny Donian, and I graduated with a PhD in philosophy from the University of the Free State. I am very excited to have Prof. Andrea Hurst as my institutional host this year, because I have been emailing Andrea ever since I finished my PhD for a postdoc position, and every single year she has another postdoc. So finally, this was the year. And yeah, this was the year. So I'm really, really excited about it. My research interests include all things humor and comedy, especially within a South African context. So following from this, my current postdoc project revolves around the power of humor in peace building and reconciliation in post-apartheid South Africa. So the overall aim of my research is to investigate the relationship between humor, peace building, and reconciliation by looking at these three primary objectives. Firstly, I am wanting to assess the positive social benefits of humor as a means to examine humor's capacity to cultivate national healing and promote social cohesion in fractious and post-conflict states. Secondly, acknowledging humor's ambiguous and multidimensional nature and its ability to also inflame conflicts, my project also aims to explore what types of humor, initiated by and directed to who, and in what medium and context might mitigate these potential destructive outcomes. And my third and final objective with this project is to analyze the role that humor can play in the post-apartheid South African context in relation to promoting peace building and reconciliation. Now, in addition to this overall project of mine, I'm also working on other humor-related projects, like the weekly online seminar series I co-host with Andrea on the power of humor. And next year, we will also be hosting an in-person conference, which I'm very excited about. And hopefully we will be focusing on humor in Africa, because not only is humor scholarship underdeveloped in Africa and South Africa, but academic texts about African humor and South Africa humor is even more sparse. So I think that these research projects and collaborations will really contribute to growing humor studies continentally and nationally. And that is the purpose of my postdoc. And I'm looking forward to all the collaborative opportunities that Andrea has provided thus far, and I'm sure will continue to provide in the next 2 years of this NIHSS postdoc. So thank you very much again, NIHSS, for the funding opportunity and all those involved with the selection process that I can be standing here today or sitting here today. I surely will make the most of this opportunity. So thank you very, thank you very, very much.
I'm really hoping that our postdoc community will develop and grow into a very collaborative community kind of where we do inspire one another as mushroom, one of us on my team. One of the mushrooms that has already popped up in the humor seminar is Abigail Lissa, and I very much like Abigail to invite you to come and chat to us about your project.
Hello, everyone, and it's been such a pleasure seeing people's faces and feeling a lot more in the room than out of it. Really thankful that we get to see faces today and feel a sense of community in the shared experience. I really want to take the opportunity to thank the NIHSS. I was a doctoral candidate with their funding program for doctoral students. And I had a really positive experience as a PhD underneath their funding. And just to kind of echo their intentions behind mentorship and workshops and trying to assist and support students in completing the program, that really is something I know to be true and that I experienced as one of their doctoral students, and now being able to receive this funding as a postdoc is absolutely wonderful. I keep saying I'm just so thankful that I'm a postdoc. There's this real sense of thankfulness to have this opportunity and to have time to really tease out and think through ideas that came during my doctoral studies, and to have more time to ponder on them and to think on them is just a wonderful gift that I'm incredibly thankful for. My particular research is in shame, and I look at affect and what affect theory can afford us in understanding shame, but I use performance as my medium and my mode of inquiry. And during my doctoral studies, I'm a UWC PhD student. My title of my thesis was Ach, Shame, Sister, Sorry, Tracing Shame's Affect Through Performance. And I looked at a variety of different case studies to tease and unpack that. And whilst I was doing that, I began to realize that shame is both something that distances us from the collective body, but it is also something that brings an awareness of our humanity and what makes us human, because it is a desire to be in connection with other people. And within my postdoctoral studies, I want to see what the live performance of performative pieces that I would centralize myself as the performer could do in unlocking and opening up the exploration of the affect of shame on other bodies. My methodology is also a practice-led research-led practice. And that in itself is a very new mode of thinking, and it opens up a lot of opportunities. And I've really enjoyed that specific type of methodology and thinking. And again, I work autoethnographically. So I always place myself within the thinking space, and I direct that inquiry from a place of self-reflection. And again, what does self-reflection offer us in better understanding our research, when we can also be the subject and the object in that research, and that there's a subjectivity and an objectivity that is often at clash with all researchers, that it's not just a way of thinking in the humanities. So I've already worked with Jenna with her research project. So the collaboration is already happening amongst the postdocs. And that was a real pleasure to be a part of and to see the work that's going on there. And last week, I offered a workshop in the visual arts department where I helped master's students in understanding a practice as research methodology for their own work. So again, it's a wonderful thing to see how the postdocs are already working in different areas and connecting, and that I think Andrea and Harshila have really facilitated that by trying to get us already connected and working together. So far, it is only May, but I feel like we have already started going and that the cogs are turning, and I'm very excited to see everyone else's projects and where their work leads them. But I definitely feel a budding sense of community and support as a postdoc so early. So I just want to say thank you, and it's wonderful seeing your faces today and hearing about fellow postdocs and their work.
Some of our postdocs have been onboarded immediately, very early. Some of our postdocs will still be onboarded as the year goes through. One of those is Joseph Sitvela. Very, very nice to see your face, Joseph. And I would like to invite you to unmute yourself and tell us a bit about your prospective project. Joseph? Okay, Joseph, you just need to unmute yourself.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yay. Okay, lovely to
I'm very much humbled to be the family of NMU. It has been a desire actually to be associated with the icon of the world. But I'm glad that I am afforded an opportunity to study my postdoc through. I'm Joseph Maleke Sitabela. Both names are very close to me. Whether you call me Joseph, you call me Maleke, they are both mine. I graduated with UNISA as a PhD candidate. My research then, I was looking at the history of praise poems, their identity and affirmation to us as Blacks. My recent project now, I am looking at the prescribed set work books for Sesotho home language, and how the literature content can contribute to gender-based violence and femicide. What made an interest or a call for me to review these books and the content? It is primarily because I work as a teacher, and we are witnessing violence between learners and learners and educators, learners and their parents on a day-to-day basis. And somehow it made a call to make a reflection on the content that we teach these learners. Maybe let me cite one example from the literature books from Lejola Khupiso. When Tsietsi could not resolve his marital problems, he decided to take an axe and murder the two innocent children, coupled with the wife and other people. So somehow it says to learners, as and when they cannot resolve the world's problems, killing is the solution to the world's problems. And somehow, to me, I saw it as another contributory factor to gender-based violence and femicide. Well, the project is investigating the extent and the impact of the literature content prescribed books to contribute, how much actually does contribute to that. Secondly, it's to find out whether we've got laws in system to bite offenders or perpetrators of such. We've got civic organization such as Kulumandota, Bua Monna, hashtag not in my names and so forth. But are we curbing? Are we in a position to curb the scourge of violence against women and girls in our society? The sitting president, Cyril Ramaphosa, passed some laws to make it tough for perpetrators. But we have seen recently with Khayelitsha shooting that Thando, it's a 6-account offender, but he's still allowed to go out freely out in the street. So somehow my research will also look at, do we have effective laws that can assist in fighting gender-based violence and femicide? Or the law actually is on the side of the perpetrators than on the victims? My project is around that. It's a link between what we teach learners at school, how it contributes, and do we have the law that can also assist in curbing gender-based violence? I think that is my project. I'm looking forward to make a contribution in the body of knowledge to say it's not only television, it's not only other forms of media that contributes to that. The education sector also does contribute, especially in choosing prescribed books for learners for schools. Thank you.
extremely important research. Wonderful that our not quite our token male, but it's nearly our token male is doing research work on such an important important female subject. So thanks very much, Joseph. It is lovely to see you. Joseph, I haven't actually seen his face yet. It's wonderful to see him now. I'd like to call on Busisiwe Lujabe. She is one of our postdocs across faculties. Busisiwe, could you possibly put your video on and unmute yourself so that we can see your face and hear from you?
Good morning, everyone. Rather good day, everyone. Can you see me?
No, you are an orange square for us.
What is happening? I see this orange square.
Okay, well, perhaps just chat to us. We'll hear your voice this time, and then next time we'll see your face.
Okay. It's funny that my video is on here. But okay, thank you very much for this opportunity, Professor Hest. I greet everyone. And my name is Busisiwe Lujabe. I graduated my PhD from NMU, and I was with the Department of Social Development Professions within the Faculty of Health Sciences. So I'm currently hosted by Professor Goliath from Social Development Professions and Professor Pretorius. My current research for my postdoc is on enhancing food security in suburban households, that is in Ward 60 here in Nelson Mandela Bay. As we know that we've been hit by COVID, and our townships currently are highly food insecure. My project here was to first explore the rate of food insecurity in Wells Estate. You know, just this morning, as we were having our municipality taking our rubbish bins, it's amazing to see how many people just come about here to collect food from dustbins. And that gives us a lot of challenge that we're seeing right now in terms of people going on hungry. So I got very interested to check on the level of food insecurity at Wells Estate. And my first phase was done last year, and I was able to get findings from that exploration in terms of confirming that indeed we have 77.4% food insecurity in the Ward 60. So the current project now is to explore how the household food security situation in Wells can be enhanced. I'm using a community-based participatory action approach and a transdisciplinary approach. The objective is to explore transdisciplinary perspectives and pathways to improve household food security. I'm engaging students, postgraduates. I'm intending to engage postgraduate students from a variety of academic disciplines within NMU in terms of exploring those transdisciplinary perspectives and pathways on how the household food security situation at Wells can be improved. The outcome is to co-design a contextually relevant sustainable food security intervention that will enhance food security in Ward 60. And with the idea that may be replicated in other similar wards. You know, sometimes we've always seen that the food security situation, our expectation has been it should be the functionality of government. But it's also now, you know, upon universities as well to see what their role can be in terms of enhancing the food security situation. So yeah, that is where what my research is about. And thank you very much to the NIHSS for the opportunity of granting me this opportunity. Thank you very much, Professor.
Thanks, Mrs. Stewart. Important research that you're doing. The last person online that we'd like to chat to is Marty Mongo. Marty, could we ask you to unmute and chat to us about your project?
Thank you, Professor Hurst, and thank you, colleagues. It's really a wonderful privilege to be part of this group, and thanks also to Harshilan for everyone who participate in making today possible for all of us. Yeah, I initially qualified as a teacher and have a master's degree in literature, and then later in my life started to study the dynamics between religion and culture, basically how holy texts are being abused to promote economic or social or political and other agendas. I started to study this on a part-time basis while I was working, because from where I could see the world is not really working well. So my field now, although I obtained my PhD in theology at Stellenbosch University, my field is basically empirical ethics, and it's interdisciplinary. The context that I use is let me first say, as a South African, I became aware of the Palestinian struggle, and I monitored human rights violations in the West Bank for 3 months. I couldn't walk away from the issue. So I investigated the role of transnational activism in my PhD, and then in my first postdoc at Stellenbosch University, I focused on Zionism in Christianity. And now in this phase, in the second postdoc, I specifically look at the role of South African churches. Many of you may be aware of the fact that Christians tend to, and others, confuse the Israelites of the Bible with the Israelis and the biblical Israel with the modern state, and justify basically the oppression of the Palestinians. And the key question, the key reason why I focus on the role of South African church policies, basically policies, on Palestine and Israel is to understand if we have really moved on beyond apartheid in this country. Because if we want a society that tries to build a new country for all of us, but we also at the same time uphold a system that has been investigated and named by many organizations as an apartheid system in Palestine, then what does it say about us as a society? What does it say about Christianity? What does it say about the role of churches? And then also, obviously, what can we learn from the church struggle in South Africa? So basically, in this project, I'm not going to study the views of individuals, but official church policies since the time, between 2010 and 2023, and there are reasons for those dates, but I think I've used up my 3 minutes, and that's basically what I'm doing. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Also very cool that as I mentioned, you can see how diverse these projects are and how hopefully we're going to feed into and all of them feed into one another. So thank you very much for the postdocs who have joined us online. We're also very happy to have at least 2 of our postdocs here in person. And I would like to invite Claudia to come and chat. Do you want to just chat from where you are, Claudia? You are on screen. Okay. Yes, that's fine. That's fine. Okay.
Let me stand up.
No, I can see the time. You're quite visible.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me today. So I've actually been with Andrea for a little longer than everybody else. I'm very happy to have company now. And some other postdocs around me. So I'm looking forward to the networking and the conversations. It's all very exciting. So thank you for the invitation today and letting me share my research as well. So my name is Claudia Jansen van Rensburg, and I am mentored by Professor Andrea Hurst. I received my PhD in musicology from Stellenbosch University. I was supervised by Prof. Stephanus Müller and Prof. Thomas Cousins. Initially, my PhD research focused on musical strategies of settlement and migration in the Western Cape. And I use settler colonial studies discourse as a theoretical framework. Following from these theoretical engagements, I have become particularly invested in interdisciplinary questions surrounding the ownership of musical production and understanding of property as they can be applied to musical practice and the music industry as a whole, both in terms of commercial and in indigenous music. So in turn, my research at ISCIA focuses on music and copyright and fundamentally asks the question, who does copyright in the South African musical marketplace ultimately benefit? In my attempts to interrogate this question, I consider matters related to the Copyright Act of 1978, which is a very restrictive and essentially reflects the very sort of apartheid legislation at the time. And also the newly drafted Copyright Amendment Bill that is currently before Parliament for the second time, and has been a source of considerable controversy in the last 4 to 5 years. In turn, my research engages with matters of access and social justice related to copyright and argues that copyright, although strictly speaking is considered a form of commercial law, is inherently connected to matters of social justice, the democratization of knowledge, and in broader terms, the decolonizing project as a whole. I therefore consider the sometimes startling aporia that exists between law and justice, and this is a recent development, particularly through examining the writings of Jacques Derrida's Course of Law, and I juxtapose Derrida's lexicon to interviews with creative practitioners and market specialists. So this is just a basic blurb of what I'm doing. So the basic tension in my research is this tension between access to knowledge on the one hand, and livelihoods on the other. And at what point can we make it a usable and a fair system? And yeah,
So that's basically what my research is about. Okay, thanks. We've come to the last of the presentations by our postdocs. Unfortunately, Mvuso hasn't been able to join us. We do have his host here. We might, I know the host is looking at me with great kind of, we might be able to convince her to say a word or two once we've chatted to. We'll give her time to think about it. And at this time, maybe invite Alex up to chat to us about his project. Thanks, Alex.
Good morning. Nice to be here. Nice to be in the Eastern Cape. I came down from Johannesburg on Sunday, so it's good to be back in the Eastern Cape for a bit. My name is Alex and I'm a first-generation South African. Both sides of my family are from Mauritius originally. And my project is very much focused on climate justice. I haven't started the postdoc yet. I think it starts probably in August when I'm going to start. But what's really interested in looking at in terms of climate justice, my own department is technically philosophy. So looking very much at different theories of justice and how that applies to the issue of climate change. But it's a very interdisciplinary sort of approach to looking at the economics, politics, social movement building as well. So the other hat that I wear is as secretary of the Climate Justice Coalition, the South African Climate Justice Coalition, and that's the coalition of nearly 40 civil society organizations, trade unions, mining affected communities, energy justice, social justice organizations that are working together to advance climate justice. And a big part of our focus is around the minerals energy complex, which has made South Africa boast the most unequal and also one of the most polluting economies in the world. And so thinking about how radical theories of climate justice require us not to just, go green, but to really transform those deep structures that drive both the exploitation of people and planet. And so thinking both about how those theories play out, in the academic space, but also in the social movement spaces. And I'll be hosted by Professor Cherry while I'm here. And I was very attracted to the work that she's doing because of the very practical implementation of visions of community-owned renewable energies and alternative economies that can maybe displace the very extractive economies that are at the heart of our current society, both in South Africa, but also globally, how those echoes of extractivism play out in driving the climate crisis. So I think that's about 3 minutes. I can leave it there.
Again, lots of cross-pollinations of civic justice. So can I convince Belinda to speak a little bit on Mvuso's part or on behalf of your project? Thank you so much. Would you mind coming in just so that you can be seen by the performance? Thank you. Hi everybody. Thank you. And if I'd known I would be on camera, I would have kind of dressed like all the other. I'm Dr. Belinda Lloyd. I'm senior manager in our engagement office at Nelson Mandela University. And I will be hosting Mvuso Benono, who is at Rhodes today, presenting there, so that's why he's got a bit of a problem being there. Thank you very much, Andrea, for asking me to be involved in this whole project. It's a wonderful opportunity. And Mvuso and I will be working specifically around engagement. At our university, there is a long history of wonderful engagement projects that's happened. But we have had, we've not always had the opportunity to write them up for publication and to introduce them, to the world. So Mvuso and I will specifically be working together with active engagement practitioners in our university to write up the projects that they have been working on.
And that will be across the board. We work, we have engagement projects at Nelson Mandela University in all of our faculties and many of our departments, working in many different disciplines. So unlike many of the other fellows here, we're not situated necessarily within a specific discipline. We are working institutionally across the many departments and disciplines, and we will moreover be looking at the institutionalization of engagement within a university context, and looking slightly historically at what has happened, and then we will be writing that up and hopefully be able to share a couple of papers with you towards the end of next year.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, thanks so much to everybody for joining us. That in a way brings us to the end of our kind of formal program, so we can start, eyeing our refreshments. Sorry to the online people, but thank you so much for joining us either online or in person. Very looking forward to all these exciting kind of invigorating disseminations and cross-pollinations and infections and affections and everything that will hopefully go on amongst us as a group. I do want to say a huge thanks to Harshila again for setting this all up. And thanks to Jonathan for making the space available and helping Harshila kind of make this hybrid event happen. It's our first. And also to Leonard for taking all the pictures. And it is now that horrible time where we suddenly have to say goodbye to our online people. And in a certain sense, turn you off. But hey, we've got real life wine and food to help us through this. So yes, goodbye, and thank you all so much for joining us. And hopefully we will see everybody in person very many times over the next couple of years. So yes, thank you.